Ready Player One, why you gotta do this to me? Alright, so to kind of segue to movie review time, Ready Player One. Y'all ready? Okay. Oh. That was a mouthful of explanation. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, ugh. You have no idea like how many times I see that like a lot of those mistakes happen amongst like fellow streamers, and like I want to help point it out, but also like I don't want to backseat them. So like I'm hoping that by me streaming and actually showing you guys how to do that, you guys have like a better idea of what to do and how to fix it yourselves, you know? And if you are struggling, like please do feel free to come ask me. And like I will come and help you out and show you how to fix it and show you how to fix it yourself too. So that way like you can show other people how to do it. Cuz when it comes to the realm of knowledge, the most important thing you can do is share knowledge. Yes. But yes, RNG. I too enjoyed this movie. So, I'm just buying myself time until I hit the official hour mark, so that way I know when to switch what I'm doing here. You know what? Is there reviews? Tag. I'm just gonna stick with just chatting. I'm gonna just stick with just chatting. Oh, let's see. All right, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 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 check. Right about here ish. There we go. Cool. Let me put Ghosty up here. All right. So, on the flight to Hawaii and on the flight back, I got to watch a couple movies. So, one of the movies I watched was Ready Player One, and I really enjoyed this one. So, as a gamer, really fucking loved it, honestly. I loved all the homages and all like the references they put in there. Like every scene, there was always like a little reference in there, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. As a fan of the Tron series, this really appealed to me as like me neurolinking my brain into the video game world and being part of it. You know, I love that. I love those kinds of concepts. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed the anime Sword Art Online. Sue me. Don't please. I'm a broke college student. I enjoyed Sword Art Online. As controversial as that statement is, I enjoy that anime. And so like I love that concept of bringing myself into the video game world through virtual reality. So in that concept, this movie did a fantastic job of doing that. It's more complicated than what we have now, but definitely it is something I hope we can achieve as gamers, or just even as virtual reality recreationalists, you know? Really? I couldn't finish the anime and I'm a weeb. I feel you. Sword Art Online is not for everybody. All right. I understand why and where people hate Sword Art. I understand season 1 arc 2 of Sword Art Online was the worst one, but when you get past arc 2, season 2 is fucking awesome cuz Gun Gale Online was badass, and then the Mother's Rosario arc in season 2 part 2 fucking made me cry. I need to catch up on season 3 though. And the movie, oh my god, the movie, oh my god, I love the Sword Art movie. Like, the Sword Art movie was really cool because you take it from virtual reality where you go into the game. Instead, you have AR, which is augmented reality, right? Where the game comes to you in the real world, right? That was pretty badass. Now, what's going... Which reminds me of a lot of the cool stuff about Ready Player One. Oh, major spoilers, by the way. Actually, no. You know, I'm going to try to make this as spoiler-free as possible. But towards certain parts of the movie, how you get to see how people like take action in the game world and it translates into the real world was really, really cool. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I love the concept of the Oasis as how like, all right, man, this is the all-encompassing game. Everybody can come in here and like, you know, do that. That's really cool. I love how basically the villain is EA. Like, there's no there's no way of skirting that. Basically, they want to turn the whole world into microtransactions. That's basically the plot of the movie. So, plot of the movie is kid in the ghetto is has some huge love for video games. The guy who basically created the Oasis where everybody now hangs out has a fortune and a treasure to basically own the game and all his wealth that the game has accumulated. However, you gotta get the MacGuffins. MacGuffins is basically like all the cool shit that you need to unlock it, right? He has to get all of that, and then essentially save the Oasis from the hands of the bad people. And truly, he's an Easter egg, or what's it called? An egg hunter? Gunter. They're called Gunters. That's what they're called in the series, in the movie. Easter egg hunters, basically, and they just look through everything, right? But this kid, in the movie, the main dude, he had the heart of it, and he really understood what the main creator was doing and how he did it and why he did it. What it really meant to be a gamer. And I, as a gamer, really appreciate this movie because it really hits the different parts of me as a gamer, as an achievement hunter, as an Easter egg hunter, as a PvPer, as a PvEer. This touched on every aspect for me, and I really loved it. It was very immersive. The movie was incredibly immersive, and I loved it for that. Oh man, the effects were astounding. The story was good. I did not read the book, however, so I can't not make that comparison. What I will do from the objective scale of things, I'm not going to critique it. I'm not going to rate it. I'm just going to tell the parts that I enjoyed and did not enjoy about it. From a technical standpoint, it was phenomenal. Steven Spielberg does amazing work with films of the sci-fi genre. One thing that kind of bugged me though was all the 80s references, but it makes sense because gaming really started in the 80s, more than anything else. More than anything else, gaming really had its rise in the 80s with, Atari's Pong, Adventure, which was really brought up in the movie, Pac-Man, Sonic, what have you, all the way up to today. With all the Overwatch references, the Halo references. God, I love the Halo references in there. Iron Giant, anything pop culture media was in there, and that really hit me because, like, as a gamer, I'm very involved in the pop culture world, the pop culture community. What is mainstream of gaming and like nerd culture in general? This really appealed to me. Was I a fan of the DeLorean being in there? I could really care less. Akira, the bike being in there? Alright, cool, I guess. Like, I understand. Those are really big icons in gaming. I'm cool with it. I understand it. It just never really appealed to me. I'm sorry. Like, I loved Back to the Future, don't get me wrong. Back to the Future was a great movie, which I think I should do a movie night with at some point. Like, it's just like, everyone's all like, yeah, 80s the end all be all of everything. I'm like, I don't know about that, Chief. The 80s was great though. I'm not docking the 80s. It's just like everyone treats it as the end all be all, but whatever. Moving forward though, story wise, never once did the story feel like it was just slogging on. Everything felt like it had a purpose. Every step of the way, every motive, every bit of it was really well done. Like, I could not say again if it stayed true to the book's story, pacing, and plot, but for a movie, as a movie consumer, I really enjoyed it because, again, there was no point where it felt way too slow. The action was just, perfect, welcome. I just went over the plot of the movie, and right now I'm just kind of going over what the movie did really well. So, the movie's pacing, fantastic. Like, the story beats, again, never a dull moment. Everything was done with purpose. Were there cliches? Sure. But it played the cliches really well. That's what I liked about it. The graphics, the effects. There is still the uncanny valley. The CG felt unfinished, but I think that was the style they were going for. considering this movie is like 5-ish years old, not even 5, a couple. I'm just gonna say a couple years old. Graphically speaking, it could have been better, but I understand they didn't want to make it too intense. And honestly, with video games, like showing off characters from like Tekken, Street Fighter, Iron Giant, Master Chief, you're gonna want to have some sort of universal graph CGI look to it. So I understand why the whole Oasis was designed the way it was. I'm okay with that. It was cool. Again, this was a huge shout out and love letter to gamers, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Never once did I felt insulted for being a gamer watching this movie. Like, this is all the shit I want out of the video game world, you know? Storm's messing up your connection? Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Jordy. If anything, try to catch the replay on the after side of the stream. Hold on. Not sponsored Warhammer, by the way. But yeah, Manny, the only thing I was really docking about the movie is just how much 80s references, 80s pop culture references they had in there. Otherwise, I'm okay with it. The movie was fantastic. Let's see. Acting and skills. Main dude makes sense, especially with how he developed as a character throughout the movie. Now, I don't know how the course of how many days the game took, or well, yeah, the events took in the book, but in the movie, it felt like it was only like maybe like a week, the course of a week, which is pretty average for an adventure, honestly. It was pretty good, honestly. I enjoyed it. So the way the character developed as like, oh yeah, just like kind of like that again, kid from the ghetto, finally getting everything he wanted, you know, out of it. Like when he got that first win, like it was really satisfying, honestly, and it was really cool. And then seeing how everybody like played their part in it, and they kind of grew together. Quick question: 10 as the highest. How did I enjoy Invincible? I might make that my next series while waiting to binge Loki. I give it a 10. Invincible's really good. If you enjoyed The Boys and if you enjoyed Watchmen, definitely Invincible is going to be added to that list. If you enjoyed shows like The Boondocks, if you enjoyed shows like Static Shock, Boondocks in terms of its animation style, Static Shock in terms of its style and street culture. Yes. You're gonna love it then. You're gonna love Invincible. So yeah. Let me see. What else can I say about Ready Player One though? Yeah, I loved all the different references they had there though. And like yes, Invincible Invincible was incredible, yes. That's my next series then. Thanks for the recommendation. Most definitely, dude. Also, if you like the actor of J. Jonah Jameson from the Spider-Man movies, he's in there and he plays his role so well. His voice is very iconic. Yes. And also if you're a fan of Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead, the Asian dude, Glenn, he's in it and he's the voice of Invincible. Does a great job. The storytelling, well, you know, I might as well throw this up there too. You know what? Fuck it. I actually just finished the show today, so I'll even add a review to that. Why not? Why not? I'll toss in a review. All right. Let me finish reviewing Ready Player One, then I'll review Invincible, and then I'll review Birds of Prey. How does that sound as an order of operations that we're gonna do for tonight? All right. So let's see. Ready Player One question: what do they think of the main villain? The main villain was a lot of fun. Shit. My mic is spiking. Hold on a second. I really enjoyed him. He was really well done. And he is... okay, hold on. 7.2, 6.8, 6.8, 6.5. Here we go. I thoroughly enjoyed him. He was spectacular. The actor played the role really well. And it's a great caricature of what us as gamers honestly see the big corpo dudes as, you know? It's the perfect representation out of how we see things in the business, really, in the business of gaming. Like, great actor, played his role as a villain really well. Basically, like, I'm a gamer, you know? Like, nah, I'm just a fucking pay-to-win dude kind of thing. And Again, he did it really well. He did it extremely well. So I love that. And then let's see. And just the way they introduced everybody's like real life counterparts was a lot of fun. Like the way they introduced I think the character's name was D. Yeah. Like the main character and the main character's like sidekick. That was the best introduction ever. It's just like, oh shit, alright, let's go. So this is what we look like. Okay, fine, I guess. Kind of thing, you know? That was fun. Follow up. Was a drone attack on the main protagonist's aunt and uncle necessary? Kind of, but not really. Definitely it moved the plot forward, and like it did show the stakes at hand of how Amazon is. I'm gonna call them Amazon, but I don't. That's basically what they are. It's like the villainous mix of EA and Amazon, dude. That's what they were in the movie, and like, yeah, I can believe they would go that far to like take down someone. Like I can believe it. Like as a like with them being like oppressive and like controlling in this world, I wouldn't be surprised they would play dirty and actually do that. So yeah. I'd say it was actually, hold on. Let me pull out my writer's notes and see if I could No. Stop. Actually, this is a very important note as a writer that I wrote down somewhere. It's the hero's journey. Oh my god. I can actually use my notes here. Hold on a second, let me find it. Oh, I'm actually excited to pull out my notes. I've been studying this shit. Yo, what up, Gato? Welcome to the stream. Okay. So, as a writer, we have a special technique of writing our hero characters. Handy dandy notebook. Exactly. And this is the Bible method of writing your heroes. Also, it's kind of follows Dan Harmon as well here. So from Dan Harmon is you need to go, search, find, take, return, change, and then back up. You can't see this, can you? There we go, ish. Crap. But yes. So essentially, it's the hero's journey. Ah, no, do not turn that off. No, Ghosty, don't fall on me. But yes, it follows the hero's journey arc. The hero could not understand the stakes of what he plays unless he loses some. Well, I'm gonna go they, because it's easier to go gender neutral. Because if I'm writing either a male protagonist, female protagonist, or non-binary protagonist, it's easier to go with they. So whatever the hero needs to do, if they're very reluctant, they need to know the stakes of what is at play and what they're up against and why the other protagonists are going up against said antagonist. So with Artemis, how she really wanted to take down 101 or IOI was the company name, right? Because her motives were directly connected to her because she lost her father to IOI, right? Whereas main dude, I forget his name right now, did not understand those stakes yet. He just wanted to get everything in the world because he was just, again, poor kid from the ghetto. That's basically his shtick right there. So, by having them kill off the aunt and uncle, it shows him the stakes of what is at hand there. Why they need to take down 101. Or IOI. Fucking, it looks like a 101. But yeah. So, I'd say it was kind of necessary. So, yeah. Also, how you doing, Gato? Welcome to the stream, my dude. Have a shout out. Also, RNG, have a shout out. Shout out. Gato. Not much, dude. Just kind of doing a little movie review here. I saw this. Yeah. I saw Ready Player One while I was on the plane to Hawaii, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie. So, yeah. Like I said, movie. Yeah, of course, dudes. So, like I said, movie. Great homage to great shout outs to the 80s in there. It was a really cool scavenger hunt. honestly. Like, it was really clever getting to see all the different technologies, and that's what that's the kind of stuff I want to live for, you know. Like I said, I really enjoyed Sword Art Online and the whole concept of virtual reality, of putting your mind into the game and getting that immersed, you know. And so, like, where my movements, my actions is so fluid that I am this character. This comes back to my whole thing of like, so my YouTube video review of like why video game movie adaptations aren't always the best. This is the best example of why a video game movie adaptation is very difficult to pull off, because you the player are the game character. This is you. This is me inside the game. This movie captures that perfectly, you know, and enhances on it. So yes. So I'm not going to give the movie a rating. I'm not one for ratings. Let's see. I think you just held the aunt and uncle hostage. The drone murder felt extreme even for a villain who just wanted to capitalize on the gaming industry, but that's my opinion. Fair enough. Like, yeah, they captured Artemis later on in the movie. Spoilers, by the way. Sorry, everybody. But fuck it. I run my mouth half the time. Yes, they could have captured it, but I think they also did it to kind of prove a point too. But fair enough. I do agree with you on that. It's an either way could have gone scenario. Again, I need to check. I doubt I'm actually gonna read the book, but sorry. From a narrative standpoint, I feel like I would have done the same, maybe. But that's a really difficult pull on that side. I think that happened in the book. So if they were staying true to the book, all right, they died. You know, it's kind of like how with like in Star Wars, you know, the Empire came in and killed Aunt Beru and Uncle. Fuck, what was his name? It's not Uncle Ben. Is it Uncle Ben? No, it's not Uncle Ben. Because Ben Kenobi. Oh shit! I pulled a blank. I pulled a major blank right now. But yeah, so yeah. C4 Amazon was a really weird call. But I mean, like, later on you have the assassin chick too, so that makes sense to have that they would be going, you know, willing to kill him off. And also they wanted to make it look like an accident too, that oh no, something exploded in the stacks, which is where main character dude lived. No one's gonna miss him if he's gone, right? Kind of thing. Now, a Deus Ex Machina that I did enjoy in the movie was the one-up concept. That was a really clever play. I did not see that plot twist coming. Like, that was just really well done. That was a really well done plot twist. Like, when they did that bomb thing to destroy everybody in the server, everybody got deleted, you know. That was really fun. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Oh, man. And then the one dude lost all his progress. I'm like, oh, man. I feel bad for that dude. Because I'm like, yeah, I'd be the same way, too. I had 10 years worth of shit on me. Crap. You know? That was fun. He was a really fun side character, too. Oh, man. But yeah, and so, like, it follows the rule of sci-fi of, like, what is the purpose of this thing? Everything in the movie had a purpose of some sort. And, like, nothing went unused. That was the beauty of it. Let's see. I don't mind film adaptation staying true to the source material. I do criticize both adaptation and source material equally. Fair enough. I do appreciate that, though. That is a fair point. But yeah. In my case, I mostly critique on filmography, acting, how well does it stay true to the source material? How well does it stay true to stay true to its audience as the subject of the film? You know, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Otherwise, yeah. Ready Player One, great film. I understand why it was critically acclaimed. I understand why it was really good. The soundtrack, again, really good. A lot of 80s references. I don't mind. I was more of a 90s, 2000s kid, I guess you could say, but I was born mid-90s. What do you expect from me? I grew up with both 80s and 90s films, to be fair. It's just like one wasn't as prevalent as the other, you know? That kind of thing. I do love all the shout outs though. So yes. Let me see. What else can I say about the film? Yeah, that's that's pretty much it. If you're a gamer, this is a huge level letter to you. Like Steven Spielberg, again, Steven Spielberg is amazing at sci-fi films. I mean, like he did E.T., he did. Nope, I'm pulling a blank. Sorry, the only thing that Spielberg really sticks out to me was E.T. I'm sorry, but yeah. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's worth the time. It's worth like everything. Oh, and like the main protect or like the main wizard dude or the creator, I loved his concept of like I can see how Sword Art Online got its inspiration from stuff like this. Like Ready Player One being a story written originally like back in like the 80s ish era, and then how they adapted it to now was really well done. Like it it didn't feel like it lost some stuff in translation, and then number two, I can understand and see why this story is a very large pop culture icon that inspired so many works today. Like there's a huge core to this. In short, my biggest criticism of Ready Player One is how it stretches it too far to appeal to every generation of gamers, e.g., oddball reference in GoldenEye, lack of credited developers in Atari games. Yeah, I feel you on that. That was a big toughie there. Um, let's see, oddball reference in GoldenEye. Yeah, yeah. I feel like yeah, but you also got to remember this was written back in the 80s too, so like it had a lot of that time era. But it still showed love to gamers as a whole. But I understand what you mean there though, of like trying to appeal to every generation. And honestly, even like within the last 3 years of gaming, we're already different generations of gaming. So I completely get you. I completely get you. But at least, it it didn't feel like an insult to the gamer community, At least they tried to, find the references that they know we would enjoy, you know. They show that love to us, and that's what really gets me for the film. Like I cried at some point in the movie, and I think it's just because of just like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to achieve as a dev and stuff. Something there. Biggest feedback. The biggest use of licensed characters cameo, funny enough, like Battletoad. Yes, I love that. I was like, oh shit, they got the Battletoads in here. Let's go. That was the sick part. I was like, yeah, definitely, that's a Manny sequence right there. Oh man. Oh, and an Iron Giant versus Mecha Godzilla. Come on, and Gundam. Come on, how could you not? Oh, that was amazing though. Like they got Gundam in there to fight Mecha Godzilla. Come on. Come on. I think the only thing they missed was Doom Guy. No, I think they got Doom Guy in there too. They got Master Chief, that's for sure. They got the Warthogs in there, that's for sure. Oh yes. Oh man, that was yeah. Yeah. So like if you're a huge fan of sci-fi and a huge fan of VR, watch this movie. This is the movie for you. Again, I'm gonna equate this like I love it as much as I love Sword Art Online, and I love Sword Art Online. So yeah. A little more spoilers, ironically. Yes. I'm trying to make this as spoiler free as possible, but I'm just gonna say fuck it. It's been out for a while now. Actually, so funny fact about spoilers. Yeah, it's worth the watch for sure. So fun fact about spoilers. I watched this recently on Wisecrack of like Star Wars and spoilers. Technically, if you think about it, 4, 5, and 6 are the spoilers to 1, 2, and 3. So the beauty of spoilers is you have the comfort of knowing what's going to happen, and then you can enjoy the catharsis of seeing how it happened. Me, I like going into things blind, so I try to avoid spoilers for that reason. But I still enjoy seeing how things play out. Coffee. Should I be having coffee this late at night? No. Will I? Yes. But I think that's everything I had to say about Ready Player One. Oh, you know what? Actually, one more thing. That race sequence. Oh my god. I fucking love. Okay, no. One cross reference I need to make with this movie Spy Kids 3D. This is just as good as that in my book. Like, in terms of technological advancements in the movie setting, the CGI again, looking at Spy Kids 3D to Ready Player One, bam, damn good comparison in like what it's done. It's again an homage to gamers. Race sequences in both movies, fan fucking tastic. It was clever how he solved it to go backwards. That was just what, you know, things like that. Small details like that is what I really enjoy, and it's just like the moment to moment sequences. Those were the biggest things that I love about both of those movies. It's just like when the action's getting good, the action is really fucking good. And then like when it comes to like the narrative sequences, it never felt like a dull moment. That's what I could say about those. So yeah. So that's my review on Ready Player One. Great movie, worth the watch. Go check it out if you haven't already. Love letter to the 80s and 90s. Yeah, most definitely. You'll be back? No problem. Next up for RNG, let's do Invincible. Let me just shrink this. I'm going to put this over here above my head. Bam. There we go. Now then. All right, up next, Invincible. So I finished. So I recently finished this series, no longer than like maybe 2 hours ago. Yeah. So Invincible. Ooh, where to begin with this one? So I'm gonna be as spoiler free as possible with this review. The main character, Mark, really cool character, really well written. This comic series came out a while back. Yeah, no, I'm gonna avoid spoilers. So these comics were written long while back. Let me check out when Invincibles were first written. Okay. Invincible, first published. Okay, so the comics were published back in 2003. Yeah, no. So I'm just gonna give you a rundown of how, like, what makes it such a quality show, RNG. Like, I'm just gonna talk about the quality of it, not the story of it. So, things this show does amazing. Action sequences are fucking cool. The choreography, the style, how everybody uses their powers in the fights. It's very fun. It's very creative. It's really well done. The acting, everybody plays their role really well. The guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson, fucking iconic voice actor, really well done in playing his role, and is exactly the voice I would want to hear out of that kind of character for him. Steven Yeun as Mark himself, really well done, playing the whole like teenage superhero, like plays the trope very well. Let's see. The villains are a lot of fun. How everything is actually very intertwined is really well done. Like, the twists, you won't see them coming. And it's gonna be like, oh shit kind of moment, you know? It's like, you're gonna have a lot of those, but they're enjoyable. And it's very satisfying kind of thing. Let's see. Voice acting, the action, cinematics. Oh, the art style. So the art style to this really reminds me of the Boondocks. If you've watched the Boondocks, you know exactly what I'm talking about if you watch the Boondocks. That show is great. But you'll understand it like that it follows the same art style of the Boondocks. Teenage superhero thing again. It's a very common trope, very tropey, but this isn't your typical like, oh yeah, we save the day kind of thing. You know, the show is bloody. The show is gory. If you cannot handle that, I suggest you cover your eyes during those sequences. There is a lot of blood and gore in this. It's an Amazon Prime show. If HBO is the king of sex on TV, Amazon is the king of gore on TV. That's all I'm gonna have to say on that. That's There's no nice way of cutting that, but Invincible handles the violence really well. The action, again, like I said, phenomenal. The relationships between characters, really well done. It feels really real. The characterizations of the characters, everybody plays their part really well, you know. They play their age, they play their roles. Not much more I can say about it, you know? And you really feel for the characters, too. It's like, whether it's like a big moment, like a big, like, tense moment, or it's even like a small interaction, you feel for every character that is on screen. And you enjoy them. You enjoy those moments, you know? And you feel for the worst, or you feel for the best. I'm not going to say when is where, but that is how it is. So definitely Invincible. If you haven't checked it out, it's worth the watch. Not sponsored, by the way. So go check it out. There we go. And then I'm just going to tuck this back under me. And then lastly, Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Something of Harley Quinn. You need to see it? Okay, I'll keep it spoiler free for you then, Gato. I got you. Review time. Yeah. Okay. So, Birds of Prey. First off, I'm going to say I really enjoyed it. And, like, it's like, where do I begin? You've seen Birds, though? Okay. Okay. You need to see my review on it is what you mean to say. Okay. So, I'm going to preface this. Okay. Let's see. I need to see it. Okay, most definitely. Okay, so you've seen Birds of Prey. Got it. Not Invincible. So yeah, definitely. Gato, if you enjoy like Watchmen or The Boys, definitely check out Invincible. As for Birds of Prey, this is a lot of fun. So as I was saying, I'm gonna preface this. I started my DC comic book adventure more or less started with the New 52. Everybody hated the New 52 since it was another reboot essentially of it, what have you. But for me, it was a good starting point. It's where I jumped on. That's when I started getting into the mainstream comics during my college years. And I actually have a lot of my my comic books right there on my shelf, and I love staring at it because I already read through it once. So, New 52 was not publicly acclaimed, I guess you could say, but it, like I said, it's a great starting point for those who do enjoy these characters but want to know more about them. And what I loved about what they did with Harley in the New 52 is it really gave her a different identity outside of the original Batman TV series, you know, which I really appreciate because like Harley was always Joker's sidekick, but I wanted to see what Harley could do outside of it, you know? Like, outside of just being the comic relief. And, like, as a strong female lead character, Margot Robbie really plays Harleen really well. Like, in terms of the method acting, from what I heard of Suicide Squad, how she actually took gymnastics, actually took combat training, you know? She learned how to play the role of Harley Quinn. I appreciate her for that. Number two, what I love about Birds of Prey is that they really take the comic book approach with it too. So, they didn't really learn their lesson too much from Suicide Squad, where like, oh no, don't introduce every character all at once as the time goes on, you know. But they really adapted it and they learned from it, though. and they made it better on how to introduce these characters. There's a lot of time jumping in it, but you don't get lost in the time jumps in terms of flashbacks. Like you can see like how all these different tie-ins together make sense as to where it is happening relative to the present story of Harley. Now, what I really loved about this is not only did it feel like a comic book movie, like actually like comic, like I could stop a frame here and there and it would feel like a scene out of a comic book. Number one, see, that's one thing I love about comic book movie adaptations is, can I pause a frame and make it feel like it was taken out of the comics, you know? That's something that's very important to me out of it. So I could take a still screenshot at any point, feels like it is. They didn't skirt the origin story of Harley separating from the Joker here. They took it right out of the New 52, which again was where I jumped on. I really appreciate that because like I know Harley, having lived in that lived like above that Chinese restaurant and like on that side of Gotham, and when she became like a roller derby girl, that was like a really fun arc that I saw in the comic books. It really showed the badassery of Harley and how she has how she acquired all these different skills, you know. And it pays homage to a lot of like the classic stuff too, like the big old hammer, you know, the whole red and pink hair, you know, everything that made Harley Harley. That she actually is Dr. Harleen Quinzel. That's something people forget about Harley, that she's actually a trained psychologist before she went crazy. I feel like that's a huge undermined note. So I thoroughly like how they did that. They weren't afraid to touch on that. As to how they introduced all the other characters in the Birds, you know, it was really nice. It was really nice how they had the detective as like one of the key plot points. With like the whole 80s cop thing as like the one who was like, she actually got the job done, but the other dude takes the credit for it. I love that. You know, they weren't afraid to play with the tropes too. They weren't afraid. They weren't afraid to have the tropes and make fun of it for it and be meta about it. Like, this is just as enjoyable to me as Deadpool 1 was. You know, actually no, you know, just as enjoyable as the Deadpool movies are. Yeah, I'm not gonna screw around. I like both Deadpool movies, as some people didn't like the second one, but whatever, you know. Let's see. Like, I'm just trying to like run the whole movie through my head right now. The one who played as a Huntress, great actress, one of my favorites. She's in Scott Pilgrim again. I'm gonna make a lot of references to Scott Pilgrim because I enjoy that. I enjoy that movie a lot. Not much I could say about Birds of Prey other than like badass chicks being badasses. Not much more than that, you know. The plot points of the villains. For Black Mask being in there, it was a really interesting villain they took on for that. But I'm not surprised that they would. I don't think he's one of the major ones in the Batman Rogue Gallery, so pretty good. I really like how the whole theme was around like finding your own identity kind of thing. That was really cool. I can't remember the name of the kid, but like that was a really good plot point of like keep the kid alive, you know. That was really good. Yeah, I'd say this is just as comparable to Deadpool 2 more than anything else. Let me see. Huntress was really good. Song or no, it's not Songbird. Canary. Canary was a really nice addition. The only thing that really bugs me about Birds of Prey is that technically Huntress and Canary are Green Arrow characters, or like they're from the Arrowverse. You know, I watched a lot of Arrow throughout college. I still need to catch up, but I'm stuck because I don't know whether to watch Flash, Arrow, or Arrow, Flash. That's the thing that pisses me off about CW. Can't you just like, you know, give me a definitive list of how to watch these in what order, and I will catch up, and when to put them in the timeline. Because now I also got DC heroes to worry about too. I'm like, well, fuck me, I guess. You know. Other than that, though, in the DC cinematic universe, this is really good. Birds of Prey was really well done. Like, it didn't take itself too seriously, and like, it did its characters justice, and it told a really well self-contained story that those unfamiliar with any of these characters, they would understand who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it. You know, like, if you, whether you have some knowledge of the Batman universe or no knowledge of the Batman universe, this is great for those who want to get into the universe. I'd say this is a good introduction into it. As for any downsides of the movie, I don't know. I don't really think of any downsides of the movie. Cinematography was really well done. Graphics was really well done. Action was really well done. Honestly, nothing felt off. Everything felt in character, in universe. Spoiler sequence when Harley attacks the police station. I guess the only thing that really made it unrealistic is the amount of like combat in high heels, but that's about it. But I could say that for any action movie, really. I didn't really find that many inconsistencies, if any, you know. So definitely, Birds of Prey. I'd say give it a watch. If you didn't, if you enjoyed Suicide Squad, you'll enjoy this. If you enjoyed the Deadpool movies, you'll definitely enjoy this. You know. So yeah. I guess the costumes, like Harley's consistent costume changes, maybe might be my only gripe. But it's Harley, so. Other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. So yeah. Any questions on any of these movies that I can help answer for you? Movies or shows, sorry. My bad. Oh wait, you know what? I have another movie I can I'm gonna add to this to my movie review setup here. Hold on. I got one more movie review for you guys. Excuse me. Whew. I am so sorry about that. I did not mean to. That was nasty. I am so sorry. Alright, last movie. Army of the Dead. Oh man, where do I begin with this? Hold on, let me put Birds of Prey back down on the bottom. Army of the Dead. Put that in the bottom layer. Come on. Okay. So, Army of the Dead. It's your typical military experiment gone wrong type film. But then it also becomes a heist film after the first quarter of the movie, which is really cool. And I enjoyed that. Because, like, when it comes to zombie movies, you can only do so much of, like, oh, yeah, we need to survive, we need to get out of here kind of thing. Nah, fam. This movie takes it like, okay, no, we're getting in there, and then we're getting the fuck out kind of thing. I like that. And, like, they play on a lot of these zombie tropes. Like, Zack Snyder did really well with this one. In terms of just, like, how things played out, you know? So, basically, the plot of the movie is Dave Bautista's character gets hired to do a job to get this money from a vault under a hotel, right? Let's see. First 10 minutes of Invincible series looks pretty normal at the moment. Wait until it gets gory. Don't worry about it. Just keep enjoying it, RNG. But yeah. So Army of the Dead, but yeah. So it starts off like a typical normal zombie movie. Military experiment ends up killing the military squad that was transporting it, number one. Number two, it hits Vegas, of all places. So that's where I say the movie is like Dead Rising, where, all right, we got a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. Let's go. You know, but they don't do the whole the whole typical thing of like, oh no, it's day zero. Oh, what's happening? Oh, zombies. Shit like that. The main point of the movie happens after everything has happened. So they don't like they just do a little montage of just like, all right, so here's our key characters here. Remember these guys, all right? These are some of our most important ones. And boom. All right, cool. They already survived like the first week of the outbreak. All right, everything like that. Now they've established all the characters. Cool. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening in the globe of this, and like how this happens in the political climate, which is really funny. And I love the jabs they had at IRL politics with it too, and it's like nice. Um, but it makes sense with a lot of what is happening too, and like how like yeah, if an outbreak does happen, we do need to like keep people quarantined and shit like that. All right, cool, makes sense. Now, as for how the time lapse was, that's what really threw me off about it. In the movie, I didn't have a sense of time where things were. But after that, like, all right, cool. Now we have the experienced zombie hunter, zombie survivalist. All right, makes sense, rather than having total noobs in there. I also like to relate this to Ocean's 11, where like in the heist movie, okay, gather a team. Here's your objective. Get in, get out, kind of thing. All right, cool. Another trope they had in there was like, all right, cool. I hired you, but I'm also gonna have my guy go in with you. They had that trope in there too, which was a really interesting one. I didn't see how that played out until halfway through the movie. I was like, clever. I thought it was one thing. It turned out being another thing entirely. Um, my only gripe about this was just like how much they used too much of like the blurred focus shots in this movie. Other than that, the action felt great. There's like it was good pacing between action sequences. Nothing felt too rushed. Nothing felt like a dumb cliche trope. Like because like everybody felt like they understood what they were doing. Everybody was a professional in that movie. Um. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The actually the zombie side of the story was actually really well crafted too, and like it like with how the alpha zombies were created and how they operate was really well done. Like I didn't think that they would do that with those kinds of zombies, but they did it anyways. So you have it's like you have your typical dumb shambler zombies like in but they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. Then you have your sprinter zombies. Let's see. Put a rating? No, nope. RNG, I'm very against putting a rating on putting on movies, honestly. I don't like quantifying what what makes a movie good. Like honestly, I say fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes can go suck my left nut for all I care. Like I hate critics. I like to critique, if that makes sense. I'm finding the pieces that I enjoyed, yeah. And like recommend like what makes me want to recommend this, like why is this piece of art why am I suggesting this piece of art to you? You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing for you. And so um Army of the Dead, it pays a lot of homage to like Dawn of the Dead kind of things. Um and really put some twists on a lot of the zombie trope too, so yeah. And like they really set up really well for a sequel. So that's really good. What else can I say about Army of the Dead? I like to relate Army of the Dead to Resident Evil. I really saw this as like a Resident Evil meets Dead Rising movie, which was really interesting. Again, I'm saying Dead Rising because of the plot of like Dead Rising is okay. I only have this much time before the city gets destroyed, which spoilers, I guess, is kind of the plot of the whole movie. But But then also Resident Evil in terms of like the science behind it, science or lack thereof until the next explanation of it. So it has that element to it. Um, no character really felt wasted. Honestly, every character like on screen had their moments of to shine. Like, yeah, it really showed like the cunning of each character, the smartness, the skills. No character felt like they were wasted on what they were doing and in being there. So yeah, there's some characters you love to hate, but you can see a change in those in said characters, you know. So definitely. Army of the Dead, really well done. It's on Netflix if you have Netflix, so definitely go check it out. But yeah, and so that's all I've got for now in the most recent movies I've seen. You know what? Do I want to put Bo Burnham on there too? I might. I'm tempted to. I'm tempted to put Bo Burnham's Inside on here, but that one's a really tough one. Like, I love Bo Burnham, but Bo Burnham's a very acquired, like, style of comedy more than anything else. But also, RNG, to be fair, when it comes to a piece of media, it's hard for me to find a piece of media that I have not enjoyed, you know? I'm very easily entertained. So, my opinions with a lot of these might be far different from someone else who's very critical of some of these movies and TV shows and will give you every possible negative. I'm not going to be the person to show any negatives in a movie and TV show. Except for Army of the Dead. I had some gripes with it, but not really much more I could say about it. So yeah, there you have it. Almost 2 hours in. Oh. The coffee's getting to me. That's okay. Let's see, who else is on right now? Oh. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Alright. But alas, I shall now prepare for my forge stuff. Really? That's the screenshot I got. Let's go. Let me see. Aww. Yay. Oopa Roopa. Alright. Let me pull up some music and we'll go from there. Alright. I'll be right back. And we'll head on to some Halo. Do some Forge. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. My libido. Mm-hmm. All right, I have returned.